Oh, you made it, Madison. Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Good Night Show. We have some guests on today. I'm going to introduce them in just a moment. We're not going to belabor the point because Michigan State is playing right now, and I go for any Michigan team. Even though I went to Michigan for grad school, not the real Michigan, but I went to Michigan for grad school, so we're going to support them for sure. But I definitely support Michigan State as well. So, and they playing right now, as y'all can see behind me. Michigan State's playing. So we're not going to stay too long on here, but I definitely want to just kind of recap. There's been a lot of discussion about Dr. Umar Johnson going to Oakwood. A lot of people were like offended by it. A lot of people, supported it. And I was very intrigued by like just kind of like the response that he got. So y'all gonna hear some background noise because we're in DC right now, and then all my kids are here. So y'all can hear a little background noise. I told them we try to keep it down, but just excuse if y'all do. But I wanted to first show, I was looking at something that was posted to Facebook that I thought was just very intriguing about this entire situation because everybody was arguing about like, hey, should Dr. Umar come to Oakwood? Should they stop him from coming? There's a lot of different discussions about it, which was very interesting to me. How many people, and it reminded me of when I was USM president myself, and how much heat used to get for doing stuff, and how the older alumni just did not seem like they cared about the people that were there. They just wanted to tell us what to do. So I felt for the USM, and I also felt for Dr. O, who was taking a lot of criticism behind this. But I'm gonna let them explain themselves. But before I do that, I just want to show a quick video of Dr. Umar at Oakwood. So real quick, let me pull that up. Hopefully you all can see it. All right, so that tells you everything you need to know about how he was received at Oakwood. So let's bring on the panelists today. I just want to say this first off, like when I saw that, I was just like, yo, but good. So, anyways, we're gonna bring on our panelists, Dr. O, and we have Madison. All right, let's go. Madison, you've been busy.
I have.
Yeah, introduce the people that are with you, and then I'll let Dr. O introduce himself.
Yes. So this is McKenna. She is our Spreading Oaks editor, which we have turned into a podcast this year. Used to be the newspaper. And this is Julie.
Wait, so no more Spreading Oaks? No more.
Well, no, it is. We're Spreading Oaks, but digitally.
It's just a podcast.
Just a podcast.
Wow. Okay.
Saving the trees. I'm just kidding. No. But no, we wanted to do it digitally, and they hadn't been doing very many prints for a long time. And I knew that McKenna is really good at digital marketing and stuff. And so I was like, maybe just for this year, we kind of see how it goes with switching it to like more of a podcast.
Awesome.
And yeah,
so how's it going? Let's stay there. I know I'm interrupting you again, but how's it going? Is it going well?
It's going well. I would say we've had some hiccups, delays, but we've recorded the episodes. So they haven't come up yet, but we've had a lot of podcast episodes, and they're going to be released in like segments and stuff soon. So we're really excited.
Yeah. Spreading Oaks is always a thing, but okay. And who else do you have?
This is Juliana.
Hello.
She is our music director for USM this year. So
Good.
Our album's coming out, so stay tuned for that. It's so good.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So, in Madison, you are the USM president currently.
Yes, I am. One more
All
month.
right. All right. Awesome. Awesome. And Dr. O, tell me about what are you doing at Oakwood now? Are you in line to be president?
No, no. But I'm just humbly serving as a theology professor and also doing teaching in the social work department at Oakwood. This is going into my 20th year. It's been 20 wonderful years. And remember those days when we had those Tuesday night Bible studies on hip hop, man. It was
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember it well.
And you know what? The fire is still there in my soul, and the fire is still there in these students. And I just want to thank God for being at Oakwood.
Yeah, that's a blessing to be able to go over like 20 years
Yes.
and stay at Oakwood. And now you are a professor, which is, that's a promotion since the last time, I was there, right?
I've always been a professor, but my status changed.
Yeah, because it's like assistant professor, then it comes professor, right?
Well, no, I'm assistant professor.
Okay. And then you're working in the social work department as well. That's dope.
Yeah, so I'm doing a joint kind of thing, and I'm teaching general social work classes, human sexuality, and also human development.
Oh, good. All right. So tell me this. I want to start with, and now both of you all can answer, anybody can answer. How did we come to Dr. Umar coming to Oakwood University? Like, how did that come about? Madison, you want to start?
Yeah. So, as you know, our social advice for the year, Michael Henry, is not currently here. But Michael's been throwing events this whole semester, and he had mentioned bringing Dr. Umar, and we discussed it. There's some things I knew, some things I didn't know, but we knew we had to go through the proper steps to see if he would be able to come on campus. And so that's kind of how it started. It started with Michael wanting to do a panel discussion with Dr. Umar, and he already knew he wanted Dr. Olatunji a part of the panel. So that's how it started. Yeah.
Awesome. And let me say this for my viewers. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I can see the chat. I can't see anything now. So if you have any questions, put them in chat. Please share the video as well. Share with your networks. Appreciate that. Now, Dr. O, you tell me you wasn't a part of the planning of bringing Dr. Umar, but you were a part, but you did become a part of the discussions to, like, I guess, run the panel for that. Tell me about that, Dr. O.
Yeah, about close to 2 weeks ago, Michael Henry, was it Michael?
Yeah.
Michael Henry approached me about participating in an event. He didn't tell me what it was. I found out a little less than a week later, and I was like, wow. But what was interesting is that about a month ago, I was chatting with Umar Johnson and was talking to him about the subject of the Sabbath. And the book that I gave him last night dealing with the Sabbath and its African roots, in which he was really interested in, I told him to get a copy of it. And I just felt led to do that. And so when I found out it was Dr. Umar that was going to be on the panel, I saw it as a divine appointment to where I'm going to be able to share what we believe at Oakwood with him.
And so you all both took a lot of heat, especially when it got posted to social media. Originally, I guess it wasn't a plan to post. Somebody said, like, oh, why they post to social media? I'm like, why not? But okay. But originally, I'm assuming it was not supposed to be posted to social media, but then something happened that had it to be posted.
So I would say that, as you guys know, that am I breaking up a little bit?
I mean, you're good for now.
Okay, so as you guys know, we have to go through USM processes anytime we bring somebody to campus. And so it was never the plan for him to release his stuff before it was, because we're still in confirmation. But I think when we're getting approval, and so what happened was it was approved, and then there's a second look at the approval. And so from our end, we were told that we have to hold off on posting until the people over us were able to do it. I think what that left is the impression, since it was approved, it was like softly approved for Dr. Umar to go ahead and start posting before us, which left us in a, like, from what I'm learning too, in leadership, you should always be ahead of the game as far as like media and controlling the narrative of why and which. And I think because there's so much time in between when he posted and when we finally were able to post on our social media that he's coming, that it left room for people to speculate what was going to take place, which was a panel discussion versus them feeling like, different things were going to take place. But that is kind of how that happened. We were intending on posting, but he got ahead of us before we said anything.
Gotcha.
Before we were allowed to, from the people above us, to post.
Yeah, exactly. I know how that is because Oakwood has to be very careful as we can see a lot of stuff kind of, what was blown out of proportion, things like that. But so tell me, Dr. O, when you learned that Dr. Umar was going to come to Oakwood University and you were going to be, the one asking him questions, what did you think? What went through your mind?
I just saw it as an opportunity in this, for me personally, to share with him what Seventh-day Adventists believe. Because you know what? Just my belief as a theologian, as a Christian, that the gospel, the everlasting gospel of the three angels' messages is to go to all the world. Everybody has an opportunity to get the message. And I think this was a powerful opportunity for us to reach him. And of course, the bottom line is this right here. We know that, and we're mature enough as Oakwoodites to know that we don't accept all the things that he believe and teach. It's all about an issue that affects us, which is systemic racism in the media. And that was the reason why. So I had no problem with that. And I want to thank Madison and the USM for in believing in me enough to be the right person. So many people told me, and I'm just saying this, that man, you're the right person for this. And I take that as an honor for this occasion. I'm going to just give nothing but love to y'all for that.
No, for sure. That was dope. And Dr. O, people always have loved you. And I know if your classes are anything like they were when I was in school, I know why people say, hey, we need Dr. O on this panel because he'll be going, especially if it's going to be something crazy going on. He can at least be able to put some facts out there. So that's dope. I thought that you were there. Massey, so when you all began to start receiving like a lot of the heat from this, what went through your mind? And I know I spoke to you on one occasion and you were like reading some of the comments. Like, how did that make you feel? What went through your mind and how did you handle that as a leader?
Well, so it's interesting. All happened very fast, like very fast. So like
was it like one day?
Yeah, 0 to 100 in one day. Friday, literally.
And that was Friday?
Yeah,
Friday.
We were having a whole another student leader service where we took Pastor Stell led us USM Sabbath and was happening at OUC. So I was preaching, preparing to speak as well that day.
Wow.
And she was doing music. We're all doing our school stuff. So I actually didn't really see it until it got, like, people were coming to me and were like, bro, what's going on? And so I was reading it and on Facebook, because it wasn't on Instagram so much so. We didn't see it on Instagram, but it was on Facebook.
Of course.
And
that's where the old people hang out.
And I guess what went through my mind was, these are a lot of people I know and I have respect for. And so first thing went through my mind was, oh my goodness, they think that I'm trying to harm their kids, or that I was trying to do something and our cabinet was trying to do something to like hurt the institution. And really that wasn't the goal. And so I'm literally having dialogue with all my cabinet members, like, this is not the goal. Like, what do we do about it? And I think I was overwhelmed at a moment, but then I had peace. It was so interesting that my sermon was about purpose, trusting God, walking in confidence. And when you can walk in confidence, you can reject shame. And then from there, you're able to just realign him, put him at the center. And so I think that was going through my head. And when I called, we had talked that night. I was kind of like, I've never been that, like, people I look up to were like, I was like, I didn't know it was going to be that big of a deal.
Wow.
Or at least people wouldn't like call me, reach out to me, like, even like in a, hey, Madison, can I understand what's going on or why your team made that decision? It was just like, they
just blasted on social media. Yeah, that's what, don't get me started on that. But yeah, that's crazy. You took some heat too. I was like, wow, people was, they were a little frustrated with you even sharing it. People was like, oh, of course he shares it. I didn't take it. I didn't know where they're being complimentary, or were they saying like, "Oh, I don't know. I knew. Well, I thought it was good for you to share it." So, what did you think about that? Some of people posted about things about you sharing something like that.
Yeah, what happened is that people know me as a prophetic preacher and a preacher that preaches certain things on the conservative land. So to be on a situation like that is kind of outside of the scope that the people usually see it, I think for a lot of people it was a shock. But I thank God for USM trusting me to handle it. And I think, like I said, it was a divine appointment for me. And what happens is this right here: part of teaching the gospel. And teaching the gospel is to talk about what the Bible says in Isaiah 58, where we are to help let the oppressed go free, break every yoke, and help those who are going through things. And so what happens is this: we know all civil rights speakers, from Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, even Dr. Umar, they didn't all agree philosophically, even religiously, on some things. But what happened is that we were all on one accord for the liberation and for the upliftment of our people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Even Ellen G. White herself said that Oakwoodites were to be taught not only how to live close to God, but to work for the upliftment of her people. So the subject was dealing with the image of Black people in media. It wasn't about his religious beliefs. It wasn't about whatever. It was
exactly.
About
he didn't come to preach on Sabbath morning. He people act like he was about to be on there giving a sermon, about ancestors and all that type of stuff. Now, Madison, well, I want to hear from your people that I want to keep y'all, in the background. What did you all think about because when I saw that video and everybody just going completely bananas, what did y'all think about that? Did y'all think he was going to get that reception? Did y'all already know?
Yeah, literally, so I was sitting on the stage behind him, but I wasn't surprised at all. I got to the Marin around 6:45. People were in there since 4 p.m.
People were there since 4?
And it didn't start till 8.
Wow.
So that says a lot.
So why didn't y'all do it at the church? Why didn't y'all do it at the church? I'm just saying, it seemed like it would have set more people.
Yeah, but I think too, again, even with everything going on, I believe there's a place for those type of conversations to take place. And I don't believe that in the sanctuary that would have been the type of place that we should have that conversation. I also think Michael, if he was here, he would tell you, Moran has an energy that comes to. He said because it's a room where you want to make sure you're in time, you want to make sure you're in there, because if you're missing out on something. And he was like, if we did it in a super big space, yeah, everybody would have been able to come, but it wouldn't have given the same if you be in the room, people would have been lingering, I could just come in and walk out and do what I please. But we wanted the people in the room to know that you're lucky that you got to sit here.
Yeah.
So they're gonna stay in their seat, which majority of people did stay in their seat.
Well, of course they did. And so, did you all have to turn people away at the door?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
A lot of people.
Are you serious?
Hey, Antoine and USM. Some of my church members came down here.
Wow.
Faculty members came and they had to be turned away. So, I came there at 7:25 thinking, okay, it's not going to fill up yet. It was jam packed.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just thank God, just being able to just lead out in the conversation and the questions and just putting the gems of truth there from the Bible and the writers of Ellen White, which brings balance to this subject. And I just thank God for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, somebody asked the question. And remember, if you all have questions, we have about 10 more minutes left. I don't like going long with my podcast, and I told you I'm Michigan State playing. But someone asked the question. They says, for those of us not in the loop on the controversy, can you please give us some background on the speaker and why the issue became a big deal? Who wants to take that one?
It's all about perception. What happens is Umar Johnson is an inflammatory speaker, just like others in the past. And what happens is that he's a Pan-Africanist. While we do subscribe for the liberation of our people, there are some things in his philosophy, even in his religious beliefs, that we do not subscribe to. But nevertheless, we're able to understand what he's talking about in terms for pushing for the upliftment of Black people. And that's what that was really about. So what people felt like is that he's there to push his belief on his spiritual views on us. And if you watch the video, his spiritual views was not even discussed. He was very respectful of the situation.
He was very respectful from what I didn't watch the whole thing, but from what I saw, he's very respectful. He was funny. He did his thing. Madison, you want to add to that? Like, what did you see people saying? Like, what's the biggest controversy that you've seen from that? Like, that you were hearing?
So from the comments that I read, it was like, he's not Adventist, he's not Christian. Why are we bringing someone who's not Christian to our campus? Some of it was his beliefs, and a lot of it was that why, like, they didn't agree with Dr. Umar coming and influencing their kids. And instantly, to me, I talked with my parents, and I was like, growing up, I love and I stand firm on what I believe in God, and I can interact and have dialogue with a lot of people and still walk away knowing what I believe. But I realize, even as a leader, that's not everybody's experience, because everybody has not been able to have dialogue and be exposed to like conversations. And so what I saw was just a lot of parents being afraid of influences on their kids. And I think from my perspective was like, I mean, that's what's happening already. Like, they have a phone, they have all these things. Like, why not do it in a space where we can have a dialogue with someone like Dr. O, someone where it is moderated and perspectives are being shown so that they can test and find themselves approved, which I think is critical, especially as we're going into young adults. Like, how are we supposed to stand on what we believe if we've never been tested?
Exactly.
And Madison, and I think just by the reaction, it's pretty clear that they already knew who he was anyway.
Yeah, so, clearly they know who he was.
They know what it is. And
I think, you know what? That is a great point, because we were like so afraid that they're introducing, oh my God, Dr. Umar is coming and it's going to really, take you to a different level. They already clearly have been following him. And, something I just like, why do you think that he gets that type of appeal? Somebody was like, that we was talking about something like, I feel like he does something for our community, because to see that type of excitement for someone was like, I mean, listen, during my day, we had Michael Eric Dyson and we had Cornel West.
Yeah.
I do not remember that same type of reaction. We were like, dope. Oh, dope. They're here. Like, I was like USM, so I got to be in the pictures and stuff with them. But it was not like screaming, people going crazy. Like, it was none of that. You feel me? So I'm trying to figure out what did you see, Dr. O, that make him appeal to those young people? And then Madison and company, we got the what did y'all think about that as well?
Dr. Umar just keeps it real about what's going on in America and what's going on with Black people. He made a comment just talking about, in essence, dealing with this issue with 1 in 4 Black women ever getting married. And to where most people are racially loyal when it comes to relationships and marriage. He's just saying, look here, about loving our women and stuff like that, and working for the upliftment of our people. And he just says it in real ways that really hit the point and bring the truth on home. And he made it very plain that he wasn't racist and he does not hate white people. And he's very fair and honest. And that's why the people love him.
Yeah. Okay.
McKenna, you want to answer?
Well, I think that even the statement that we put out on Friday showed what his purpose was for coming. And it wasn't for him to put on a show. It wasn't for him to say anything crazy, which he didn't. He was just, speaking on the reason why we brought him, just to talk about what Black media and how we are portrayed in the media and stuff like that. It's something that we all can relate to. And we know that he loves Black people, and that's his beliefs. So that's the part that we really wanted to have a discussion about. And I mean, if we can't have a discussion, then what's happening?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the same thing. I agree as well about that. To follow up, I think so often, even sometimes in just the environments we're in, it's very rare to see that like type of upliftment of unapologetically being proud of being Black. And so I think the student body was like, they're always talking about being an HBCU. What does that mean? And so to have someone come in and really uplift and affirm just being Black and how, his opening line was really powerful. He was like, guys, get an education. Make
Yep.
sure you leave here with a 3.7 so you can skip getting a master's and go ahead and get your doctorate. Most of you guys don't understand that you can skip getting your master's if you just focus, do well in school, and get your doctor. And he was like, take 4 years. Like, most of you guys are gonna go back to school. So I don't know. I think, to me, it was really, I think the students already knew he was, and they already wanted to hear the conversation. Especially students really like Dr. O, wanted to hear what Dr. O had to say.
Yeah.
And so I think the students were really just excited, anticipating for the night. Majority, I can't speak for all, but like, I think that was the biggest takeaway.
Yeah. I would say so.
And it really was. And so it's nothing wrong. Okay, we're Christians. Okay, we understand that. But we understand the fact that we're Black in America. We're Black in a world to where discrimination happens against us all the time. And we thank God that God has already outlined in the Bible and in the writings of the prophet of our church on how to deal with that. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And what happens is that this was not a promotion of hating white people. It's about the upliftment of our people as it is in media. And that's all it was. Just a very practical discussion so that as we leave to serve, we serve right through Jesus.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother. And that's what I said. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think, for like, it's a witness for people. So
you do it.
And it was a witness for him as well. He posted it. It also gives Oakwood more, it gets Oakwood out there. Like, oh, dang, he was out there. And I mean, I've seen him post a lot of different things. I've never seen that type of reaction towards him. So someone says Dyson is way more inflammatory than Johnson, and he was in the pulpit. That's what I was saying. Like, I'm surprised. He was in the pulpit at Oakwood. We were there. That was for chapel.
I was there too.
Yeah.
I was there. He was saying some stuff that Umar didn't even say.
Yeah. He was rapping.
He was rapping. He was endorsing homosexuality and stuff like that. And what happens is nobody. But what happens is this right here. Let's just keep it real. Any man that comes up and calls truth to power as it relates to the plight of our people is always a Mark man. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and of course, Dr. Umar Johnson, or anybody. So what happens is he's just looked upon as an inflammatory figure. But when you understand what he's trying to say, then you know that all these fears can be removed. Last thing before you go on, I watched a video where he said himself that he sits down with white people, takes pictures with them to show that he doesn't hate anybody. And that's very important. He don't have to do that, but he did it to remove any question that this is not about hatred, but it's about the upliftment of our people. And even Ellen G. White, the founder of our school, told us that Oakwoodites are to learn how to labor for our people. So let's go and labor for the upliftment.
Come on, brother. Come on. Well, let me, as we wrap up the conversation. So, Dr. O, when people began to criticize you about this, like, what was your response to that?
You know what? The thing about it is that, just to be as transparent as possible, to let you know what it is and what it's not and what the goal is. Okay. This man needs Jesus like we all do. And I asked one person last night, do you want to see Umar go to hell? So what happened was I had the opportunity to give him a gift in the behalf of the school, which would acquaint him with the beliefs of our church to where one day he may stand with us one day. So what happens is this right here, that's the greater good. And I thank God for it. I want to again thank Madison and the team for allowing me to come on.
Okay, absolutely. And then before we got a question says, so how would you describe no snow bunnies? Persecution in the Bible speaks to standing on the righteousness of Jesus, not race.
I want to piggyback before I answer that one. I wanted to also, something that I wanted to just let people know, and it's been on my heart to say, is that we spent the good Lord Sabbath tearing down people, talking about people, not praying, not covering, not interceding on behalf. And I was telling my cabinet, I was like, what if Dr. Umar sees this? What if he comes onto this Facebook page and sees this? We're making out the Jesus that we claim to speak about to be a lie. We're making his love seem like it's not there because of the way people were just even speaking about him. And to me, I was like, the student leaders are watching this. So to me, the Bible talks about gossiping. The Bible talks about the way we talk about other people.
Wow,
And
come on.
I think when they were ridiculing this, I thought about how many people have, oh, I'm a Virgo, or I'm a Leo, and they post that on their birthdays in their show. How many people go to listen to Beyonce, Rihanna, Jay-Z, all these other artists? How many people, like, even when they're starting to criticize his background of his life and some of the things he's done, I'm like, I'm young enough to know that so many people in our own church that preach in the pulpit that have been covered by some of the things and institutions that we are do the same thing. So my question was that I want to just raise to people, not that we can't be discerning, because I don't agree with everything Dr. Umar says at all, right? Like, I want that to be clear. But I also think how we interact and how we go about sharing the gospel and holding our children accountable matter. And I think that we did a disservice as a community, the way we communicated our maybe even pushback, right? Because then again, the Bible says, greater is him who is in me than who is in the world. So why was all the pastors and people that are preaching these congregations fearing for their children? My mom didn't fear for me to be in that room. I think that what I love best about this is that we do need to have a conversation as a church community about how we portray and how we say things and how we speak about others, because we make the truth, God's love, out to be a lie when we tell our kids and we go in on people. And this is not just a Dr. Umar thing. This is something I've seen all year as United Student Movement president, where we make criticisms and tear people down online. And also, mind you, what happened past this weekend was on the Sabbath. The Sabbath that you claim he doesn't keep. You weren't also keeping yourself. Are we acting in rest when we're doing that? And to me, it was I was at peace at a certain point with it, because I think we have an opportunity together as a community to just sit down and have a dialogue and stand on our principles and what we believe, but we can't be hypocrites. We can't do that, because that's why a lot of young people
do not want to be
in the church.
They tell us to lead out. Well, not us. I'm not as young anymore, but they tell us to lead out. But then they say, they give us all this type of criticism. And I think like what's so important and what blew my mind, especially, I was talking to Dr. O about this, but what blew my mind is that people that have brought other denominations to the to Oakwood was like speaking out against it. So, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of went in on some of that. I'm like, yo, this is hypocrisy at its best. So tell me, is it something more to it? Because you've done the same thing. You brought people here, people come here all the time. So don't come telling me that this one person, like you said, just tearing down someone on a consistent basis. And that's what we do as Adventists. We tear down people. And I've learned so much with just mentoring and things like that, because it just showed me show people, stop trying to teach them this is wrong, that's wrong, we can't do this, we can't do that. Just show them, and what better way to show them when he comes on campus to show him God's love? What better way is that?
I literally was telling Juliana too. Sorry, I know you have to go to your game. Sorry. But I do want to say this, because I think it's so important. I was telling Juliana and McKenna, I was explaining to them, I was like, what if they took a different approach? I think it's fair that people could have disagreed. I don't want to leave room to say that you don't have criticism, or you want to have us to think about better ways to handle different situations, or maybe even other panelists to speak, right? I'm not upset at even that thought of that. I think that's important. I think two things I want to say. Nobody reached out to me personally. They know that I'm USM president. No one said, hey, Madison, can you walk me through your decision-making process or your teams, or why Michael wanted to bring me through? They went straight to the Instagram and their comments, and that hurt me. First, that really hurt, because some of these people I knew personally. Second, I was like, what if? And what disappointed me so much was I was like, guys, what if we were so loving and so kind as a community that when he walked on campus, he turned to himself and he said, wait, I've never experienced this type of kindness, respect, and treatment that made him start to question is in his thought process, what kind of love is this? People were so fixed on tearing him down versus seeing that God is a redeemer. To me, he's worthy of being redeemed. He's worthy of God's love. God died for him. Jesus died on that cross for him too.
Yes.
And I think we lose sight of that when we allow our offenses to get in the way. And as a community, I ask ourselves, what if?
Yes.
What if it could have been
Hey, you giving us another sermon today, Master. Come on now. Dr. O, did you want to add to that or?
I have nothing more to add to it. You know, what happens is that, you know, one of my friends on social media put a long post, and he was just going to just put this out. He was in one of these present truth circles. I was very surprised that he said it. He said that he's not, usually he may be against some of the things that has transpired with some of our guests, but he said in this instance, this may be Umar Johnson's best chance to receive truth. And I took advantage of that. And so my conscience is clear. I am happy that I was able to meet with him. And that, of course, we're talking about a subject that affects all Black people. And what happened is that USN thought he was the best voice for it. And so we just let the chips fall where it may. Now, let me ask Madison a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Somebody made a comment about the snow bunny thing. What do you want to say about that, Madison? Or what do y'all want to say about that? We don't want to act like we're ignoring that, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't want to ignore that. I want to say that, as a disclaimer said, like the university said on the flyer, we do not, everything that the panelists said is not an endorsement of us, right? And I do want to acknowledge the student body. Oakwood is a diverse campus, and Oakwood has many different people from many different walks of life, and I love them, right? And so even if that they took offense to that, that is something even I serve them too. Like, I'm not here to just serve. I have to pick and choose who I'm serving. So to me, to that comment is, I think it is a sensitive subject and a topic because a lot of people do come from interracial marriage and mixed race marriage. And I mean, that comment directly goes against how they were brought into this world. Right. And I feel like as a community that we need to be very careful about the messaging we send to even those that are around us that are in those, that come from those things. And so as president, I will say this, where I am for the uplifting of the community of people being married, you know, Black people marrying Black people, I am up for that uplifting. I'm also just not for the tearing down of anybody's parents and backgrounds. I'm not for that. The United Student Movement doesn't stand for that. We wouldn't want anybody to feel like they don't belong here because the way they came into the world was wrong. God has a purpose for everybody. He said that racism, I mean, Dr. O, maybe you can address that. I don't think that comment is racist.
His belief about interracial relationships and interracial marriage has nothing to do with hatred towards white people. It has nothing to do with superiority over the white race. It has nothing to do. He's made that very plain. And all you got to do is just look at his explanation why. He gives a very simple explanation why, you know. And so what happens is that, you know, he may take those that are in those relationships to an extreme in terms after the thing is done, but that's not what we're about at Oakwood. And that's not what I'm about.
Yeah, I don't think, and none of that was portrayed there last night as well. You know, I think, and I would just say, like, from watching, just kind of like from watching him, I think a lot of it is like, he does it in a way which reaches young people. He's like, he's funny, he gets out there, you know, so he says certain stuff like just like I do, like anybody do. And I tell people all the time, I mean, like you said, they were just like pulling up every little thing they said. Some people had little YouTube links that they watched and all this stuff.
I was like, you watch more than me.
Exactly. I'm like, if you're watching all of this, then you know. And my thing is, like, I just imagine if somebody had that with our lives, like if they could post everything that we said, everything that we did, you know, a lot of us, they would ask us not to come anywhere as well. So I just tell people, be humble, show love. We all got issues, do certain things. So don't just single out this one man because he's coming out to speak. And I think I'm glad that you all brought him. I'm glad. What made you, last question, if anybody else have any questions in the chat, we got to end. But my last question is, what made you not cancel? So as you said, you got all that pressure, and I know what it's like to get that type of pressure. But what made you not cancel the event? And did you get any pressure to cancel it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was being sent all the things that were being said, and ultimately, I prayed about it. And I asked God, I said, God, if you don't want him to be here, make it so that he doesn't come. And I also said, God, I had peace. I think also people saw me the night before and I kept telling them, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Is there something we're missing? And I had peace about it. And so I think what made me end up not canceling was I thought to myself, what if? I had that what if question. And then I said, I talked to my parents, and I prayed, and they literally were like, Madison, you know why you brought him? And also I want to emphasize, I think bringing Michael into this is really important, re-emphasizing. He's a social bias. Yeah. And I have a thing with my executive cabinet and everybody in USM. He really believed in this. Like, I want to really emphasize that Michael was.
I wish he could have came on because he's dope. Let me just say this. I am so impressed with you all's leadership. I mean, like Brittany, she went to school with me. She's being silly, but she was just like, I wish you were my USM president. But listen, like the leadership that you all have shown is commendable. And of course, with Michael, like I can just tell, like when I brought my mentees down there, like how much he loved and was in tune with the students at Oakwood.
Yes, Michael.
Like, that's important.
Let me and I want to put this out there. Michael and I knew to bring him on into this role. Michael has the ability, and I think that everyone can echo this, to connect with not only the freshmen but the seniors. A lot of people have respect for him, and so I think when Michael believed in this, we have this thing, and I do this for everybody. The cabinet, I was like, okay, let's study to show ourselves approved. Let's think about this in a critical way. And Michael and I both thought about it critically together. He believed in it. He didn't want to cancel it. And ultimately, I sat down with him, and he was like, okay, let's think about how we're going to ensure that if we don't cancel, we do the best to hold the integrity of not only our school, but the reason why we brought him here. And so we started with prayer. We ended with prayer. We started the service with closing out the Sabbath. I told Michael, I was like, I want us to sing some songs. We need to close out the Sabbath before. Yeah. So even as they're entering into this room, we set the atmosphere for them to come in. And to me, I think we forget that God is in control. And I think that's what I knew. Like the God I serve, demons submit to him. So I wasn't really afraid of what I know, what I read. And so that's what gave me peace. That, my parents, my support and community, and also just the year I've had as a USM president, I've learned how to just boggle out the noise and then trust myself and my team and those people around me and make decisions like that. And so I was able to do that.
That's dope. Everybody's like, she's dynamic.
Yes.
And Brittany said she would definitely have voted for you over me as USM. We will not.
Hey, Brittany,
not belabor that point. Okay, that's
and that's what it's all about. And Madison, the president, she takes ownership, and she made it very plain. Like her, we don't agree everything that Dr. Umar said, but for the upliftment of our people, as Ellen White said, the prophet of the Seventh-day Adventist Church said that the mission of the Hunt School was, as well as living for God and learning the arts and the sciences. What happens is this right here. He was just brought as a voice to deal with a certain subject. And we had 10 questions, which guided the conversation where we didn't veer off into anything crazy. In terms of something for us in the 21st century, we're going to have to deal with right now. One of the questions last night was, what are we going to do if Jim Crow comes back? Just last week, President Trump opened the door for Jim Crow to come back. They said it's a symbolic act. I don't buy that. What happens is this right here. We as Black people, Black 7-day Adventists and Blacks abroad in this country, we're going to have to be very prayerful and very watchful, as well as be prepared for what is to break upon us when it comes to this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Madison, I said it was the last question last time, but for sure, what is your major? Are all y'all seniors? Are like you, Michael, everyone with you today? Are you seniors?
We're seniors. She got 1 year.
Oh, bless her heart. Bless her heart. She gonna be the USM president next year.
Well, we did usher a new cabinet.
Yeah.
So Gabriel Morency is the USM president-elect, and I'm excited for their cabinet. And I think they're going to take USM to new heights and different levels. I tell him we laid the foundation this year so you can fly. So I hope he can continue to fly like every year does. But
awesome.
What's next? You can start. Do you know?
Next, I mean.
Yeah. What's next for you all, and what's your major?
Okay. Well, I'm a film and TV major.
Shoot out Ono. Come on, talk about Ono.
Well, Ono started. I don't know if you know Pax Fordham, the Fordham family. They did SNL spinoff the last year, and then this year, I was the showrunner for the season 2 of that. And live stuff, pre-recorded stuff. I'm going to a festival in California in like the beginning of April, stuff like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. And my minor is entrepreneurship, so maybe start my own business. My parents are both entrepreneurs, so heading in the world of film and media.
She's amazing.
Awesome.
Yes, I always have to shout out my cabinet and my team because everyone says Madison. No, listen, if it wasn't for these people next to me, they literally are so talented and amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better support system throughout this year. But Angeliana, her album's coming out. I'm gonna say it again because it's coming out. Make sure y'all listen. Yes. All y'all alumni, just we're bringing that USM out.
Yeah, tell them get an album. Do they cost?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right.
I got a question for Madison.
They're not still on CDs, are they?
No, but you know what? It's now vintage to do a CD, so I think.
Hey,
I got a question for Madison.
Yes.
How did it go with Umar last night after everything was over?
Oh.
Y'all went out with him. Y'all went out to eat last night. How did it go?
Oh. Yes. So it's a whole nother story. But it went well. We had a dynamic conversation. We talked about Jesus. We're literally sharing the gospel with him the whole time.
Praise.
That's
it. That's it.
We had a dynamic conversation. Yeah. As for me and what I'm doing after school, I'm letting the Lord lead. I've been teaching middle school all of this semester. And so I love teaching.
She's a great teacher.
Thank you.
Of course, she's a great teacher.
I love teaching, but so I've got a couple job offers just around. Teachers are in a high demand right now. However, I am just letting the Lord lead me because before I came to school, I was acting. And my agency recently.
Y'all making us feel old.
I know, making us old.
But yeah, my acting agency reached back out to me and stuff, and I'm just letting the Lord lead. I don't know. I'm not sure, but maybe teaching.
Well, we're going to pray for you. We're going to pray for you for sure.
Be a teacher.
I love
teaching. We need more teachers for sure.
I'm definitely going to teach. I just don't know in which capacity that's going to look like. But yeah.
That's dope. Okay. And last but not least, did she say that?
No, I'm a nursing major, but I have one more year.
Oh, Lord, bless your heart. Yes, indeed.
Please pray.
I don't know how she does it all.
I know.
Yeah. And listen, what I think is so important is that, all these people, they're leaders at Oakwood University. I think that as much engagement that we show online, we should show engagement with our young people, helping them, supporting them, helping them get in college, helping them get their bill. Because you know how hard it is to clear. We need to post that and give them an opportunity to clear. I don't know what's going on. I'm echoing.
Go ahead.
Oh, that must be you. That's you, Dr. O.
It may have
And
been.
then we also, as we can see, that Oakwood internet got y'all showing up blurry. We need to help with the Oakwood. We be helping with a lot of different stuff
Help us, Lord.
around here. They still got that same internet, but we ain't gonna throw down my school like that. But go ahead, man.
I was
Final
gonna
words.
say that.
Final words.
We have some ways that is just you bringing us under, and also just being a good support system to our entire cabinet, USM, giving us counsel, giving us advice. Dr. O, we appreciate you just even being willing to listen, to advocate, and stand in and help us bring this to fruition. What happened yesterday, and I also always have to thank my parents, my family, my aunt and uncle. They helped with this too. And my final words are, I loved what you said. There's something so special about Oakwood. And Oakwood is a place where we have leaders like McKenna, Michael Henry's, Juliana, when we have leaders like Eliana, she's not here. And I just would like to encourage everybody to remember that as we talk about our school, as we have dialogue about what we want to do better, that you include us in a part of that process, and that we have ways you can give. Okay, she has an album coming out. She's trying to raise some money for that. We have projects like McKenna's, and so I would say if anybody wants to reach out to me about ways you can help support students,
How would they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me via Facebook, which is my Madison.
And that's what all the old people on, so we can get
yeah. Madison Menacey, Instagram. My email is literally madisonmenacey@gmail.com. If you guys want to support students, I have a couple of things we're trying to do. I know we're trying to help clear the class of 2025. Me with Miss UNCF and the senior class president. We've been working on that. There's just a lot of projects. And students also, if you don't want to give money, right? I think another way you can engage is support, mentorship, talking with them, reaching out with them, engaging with them. I just want to encourage the alumni and the supporters that the same school you love about, the students are here. Yeah. They're bright. They're brilliant. So I know Oakwood has its challenges. I also want us to critically think about how we interchange and dialogue about this university, because when I go out and I go get my job, the same school that we tear down online is the same school that I have to use to go get a job or a degree or further education. Yeah. And so I know that we have those things, but the students are watching. I just want to also say that. Yes. And we love you guys. Yes. We know a lot of the individuals, and we have had experience with you guys, but I want to encourage you guys to go on, maybe a step further, and I can give you tangible ways to support. I know some people don't know how, but I can give you a few. And like the school says, let's always remember, let's keep God first and really do that. And I think by doing that, let's all pray before we speak, before we engage in things. And I think that would have a lot of positive impact, and including myself. Mm-hmm. I've made mistakes this year. I've learned in leadership a lot of things. So I just want to say that.
We all do. Trust me. We all do. Leadership is tough, and I'm happy definitely that you all are here. Dr. O, did you want to say anything? And Maureen, thank you for keeping me updated. You see, I have to turn around every few minutes, but thank you for keeping me updated with the game. Again, not a big Michigan State Michigan fan, but
brother Antoine, you represent the first part of my ministry here. Madison represents the other half of my ministry, and it's been at Oakwood. It's been a wonderful 20 years, and I pray that I can continue to serve at Oakwood. It's just wonderful being able to connect with the young people, and it really meant a lot to me to even be invited out of all people. Yeah, and I just give God the praise, and thank God you was able to talk about Jesus to Umar last night, and that's what it's all about, man.
It's all about.
Yeah. And so what happens is this right here: we got a work to do as Black Seventh-day Adventists and Black people in general for the upliftment of our people. As I said last night in the meeting, if we come together under God and obey His word, the Bible says He'll make us the head and not the tail. We shall reign over many, and none will reign over us. Let's go forward in Jesus' name.
Thank you all. I appreciate having you all here today. Follow the channel, The Good Night Show on YouTube. Y'all be blessed. Have a good day. Good luck to you all as well. All of my prayers.
Thank you.